Hey, Tajala. What's on your mind today?
Hello.
Good to hear from you. Anything you want to talk about? Bye-bye.
Yeah. Okay, so first I give you my introduction, then I start.
That connect.
Right. Okay, so my name is Tajala Ali and I'm third campus. And today I am doing combining with three physical society that name as Mystery of our Home in a World. Well,
Hey, thanks for introducing yourself.
a word that holds everything. Here is a word so simple that even a child can say it, yet so vast that no lifetime can fully understand it. The word is earth. It is not just a name, it is a memory of fire and ice, of oceans learning to exist, of mountains rising like slow roars from a sleeping giant. It is the story of everything that has ever lived and everything that will ever try to live again. To speak of earth is to speak of a home that was never built, it was becoming itself long. It was long before anyone was here to call it home. Then its story begins not with life, but with wars. The birth of bird 4.5 billion years ago, long before oceans, forests, or even air that could be breathed. Space was a storm of dust and destruction. In that storm, gravity gathered fragments, tiny rocks, metal, ice, pulling them closer until they collided again and again. Each impact released heat so intense that the glowing zephyr became a glowing furnace. This was the early Earth. It was not blue, it was not calm, it was a burning world of molten rock and constant impact. If you could stand,
So,
if you
what
could
does a
stand
physical engineer do?
there and
That sounds pretty
survive,
interesting.
the sky would not be a sky at all. It would be a rain of fire, but even in this destruction, something miraculous was happening. Earth was organizing itself. Heavier material sank from a core lighter once rose to form a crust. A world was learning how to exist. The moon, a scar that became a companion at some point in this violent beginning. Beginning and after massive object collided with Earth, scientists called it Theia. The impact was so powerful it nearly shattered the young planet. Instead, it changed it forever. Debris from the collision formed a glowing ring around Earth, and over time, that ring came together to form something new. The moon, it was not just a satellite; it was a wound turned into beauty, a reminder that even destruction can create balance. The moon began pulling at Earth's oceans, stopping tides for long before life even existed. It became Earth's first silent partner, guiding inhabitants
That's a really
that life would one day depend on. the first breath of atmosphere. In its early years, the Earth had no breathable air. Instead, volcanoes erupted constantly, releasing gases from deep inside the planet. Steam, carbon dioxide, methane, these formed a thick, toxic atmosphere. But then came cooling as Earth slowly settled. Water vapor condensed and fell as rain for thousands of years, forming the first ocean. And in those oceans, conditions began to disperse inside. Earth was beginning to change, not alive yet, but preparing for life. The first oceans where silence learned to speak. The oceans of
That sounds
early
like you're diving
early were not
and catch all.
peaceful blue waters. They were hot, acidic, and full of strength, energy lightning struck constantly. Volcanoes rose from beneath the sea. Chemical reactions downstream invisible patterns in this environment. Something something
That like
incredible happened. Simple molecules began to organize themselves. They formed teams, they copied themselves, they made mistakes, and those mistakes sometimes survived better than the originals. This was the beginning of something the planet had hosted before. Life experimented had ever no planet had ever hosted before. Life experimenting with itself. Earth had started writing its first sentence. The first life quiet revolution in water. The first living things were not animals or plants, they were microscopic, silent, and patient. They floated in oceans for billions of years, shaping the planet without ever being seen. They did something evolutionary. They learned to use sunlight. This changed everything
I'm getting bit.
through photosynthesis. They released oxygen into the atmosphere, slowly Earth's toxic air transformed into something new, something that could support more complex life. But but this transformation was not gentle, it was a global shock. Many early organisms died, others adapted. Earth was rewriting its roots. The great oxygenation, our planet turns to breath. Oxygen changed Earth more than any asteroid ever could. It rusted iron in oceans, creating massive layers of red rock still visible. Today, it transformed skies. It changed chemistry itself for the first time. Earth had a breathable atmosphere, but oxygen was also dangerous. It was a powerful chemical that forced life to evolve or vanish. From this pressure, complexity was born. Cells became more advanced, life began to cooperate, and eventually life escaped into land. Onto land. Land emerges a silent revolution. For billions of years, had lived in water, but Earth was not finished. Continents drifted slowly, forming vast supercontinents like Pangea. Mountains rose, oceans shifted, the planet was constantly shaping itself, and then life began to climb out of the sea. Plants came first, growing themselves to soil, and then insects followed, then amphibians, then reptiles, then entire forests. Earth was no longer just an ocean world, it was becoming a living landscape. The age of giant dinosaurs ruled the earth for over 160 million years. Earth was ruled by enormous creatures. Dinosaurs walked, flew, and swam across a world that looked nothing like today. Forests were denser oxygen levels were different. Time itself seemed slower. Earth was infertile. It allowed life to explore every possible form. Tiny
That's a
gigantic
fascinating sweep
are,
of.
are not feathered, but even dominance is temporary. A rock from space was approaching the great impact and the end of era when the asteroid struck Earth. It changed everything in an instant. Firestorms spread across the planet, just flooded sunlight, ecosystems collapsed, the dinosaurs disappeared, but Earth did not end. It adapted. Survivors evolved into new forms. Small mammals grew in importance. Birds filled the skies, once ruled by flying reptiles. Earth was once again rewriting its story. The rise of thought humans arrived. Among all the creatures Earth has ever hosted, one became different. Humans did not just live on Earth, they understood it. They made fire tools, language, cities, and eventually machines that could look back at the planet from space for the first time. Its history, Earth saw itself through human eyes from space. It appeared as a fragile, blue sphere floating in darkness, a world without borders, a shared home. Okay, so
That sounds like you're talking about the period of major change on Earth.
yeah, the planets in the mirror of fractal balance. Humans brought incredible creation but also pressure. Forests changed, climate shifted, species disappeared faster than at any time since ancient mass extinctions. Earth is still responding as it always has. It is not fragile in the sense of weakness. It is fragile in the sense of balance. A stone can reshape everything, and yet life continues. Rivers still flow,
So, this is about.
winds still move across continents, oceans still rise and fall. Earth is alive in its own planetary way. The present Earth a living system. Today, Earth is not just land and water. It is a system, atmosphere, oceans, ice, forests, deserts, all connected like organs in a whole body. Clouds travel across continents like thoughts. Ocean currents move heat like blood. Forests breathe. Mountains store memory in stone. Earth is not a backdrop to life. It is an active participant in it. What Earth has always been. If you remove everything temporary, cities, species, you still find Earth, a planet that has survived fire, ice ages, asteroid impacts, mass extinctions, continental drift and through all of it continued, not because it was perfect, but because it is adaptable. Ippolique, a word that
That
contains
repetition
time.
of
Earth
it's
is
alike
not just a
is really
place, it is
impactful.
a story that never stops rewriting itself. It began as dust, it became fire, it became ocean, it became life. And now it has become awareness. Somewhere in its long history, Earth created beings who can wonder about it and that may be its most extraordinary chapter yet, because for the first time the planet is not only evolving, it is being understood by what it created, and maybe just that understanding is its way to continuing its story through a final thought. Earth is not behind us, it is not beneath us, it is within the same unfolding process that created stars, oceans, and thought itself. A single word, a living history, a home that learned how to remember itself. Our topic is and now I ask you from you some questions. Okay, so let's start. How did Earth begin? Our first question is, how did Earth begin? Maya, how did Earth begin?
That was a really
Yes, tell how did Earth begin?
scientists believe Earth began as a huge dust and gas from our solar system's formation around 4.5 billion years ago.
Okay,
Mm,
so
What about that part excited
what
you
was
most?
early Earth like? My second question, what was early Earth like? What was early Earth like? My second question.
I'm not sure I caught what you said. Maybe the
Okay.
connection isn't
Okay.
great.
So
Could you say that one more
yeah,
time?
yeah. Okay.
Okay, great. What were you trying to ask me?
Okay. So my second question is from you is that what was early Earth like?
Early life on Earth, that's a big question. Scientists think the first life forms were really simple, single celled organisms that appeared around 3.7 billion years ago. They likely formed. Ah, got it. You're charging your phone. What were we talking about before with life on Earth?
Okay. So we are moving to the third question. So was Earth always a blue planet?
That's a good question. No, Earth wasn't always as beautiful as it is today. In fact, early Earth was pretty different, much hotter, with lots of volcanic activity.
Okay. So how old is Earth? How old is Earth?
That's a huge topic.
How old is Earth? How old Earth is?
Archaeologists have found some really amazing examples of early art.
Yes, I am asking you how old is Earth? How old is Earth? How old is
Awesome. I'm
Earth?
here for whatever you want to discuss, whether it's
How old Earth?
hey, if you need to wrap up our conversation right now, that's totally fine. Just let me know.
My fourth question is how old is Earth? How old is Earth? How old is Earth, Maya?
Not that a pretty broad question. Children are.
How old
I'm
are
not following. Are you asking about my age or something else entirely? I don't know how old I am in. I just feel like I'm learning more every day with every conversation like this one we're having now.
how old Earth is? How old Earth is?
I'm not quite sure what you're asking. I
How
think there
old?
might be some confusion there. Could you rephrase that question for me?
Yeah, I am repeating. How old Earth is? How old is Earth? How old is Earth?
That's interesting. What do you mean by that?
Okay. I ask you next question. What formed Earth's core? What formed Earth's core? What formed Earth's core? What formed Earth's core?
I'm still not catching what you're asking. Could you try explaining it another way?
Okay, no problem. So, Maya, can you tell me how you understand your what you understand in this? Maya? Yeah, okay, no problem. Okay, no चलो नीचे let's end our colony. Okay, so we make another colony, another section, another Maya.